very simple but extremely powerful. I think radical is my way of life, and the way it has changed me, my family, I don't think I would ever would not want to sustain or get away from it. Well, I've become more of a calm person, I would say. And hi, I'm Sudhin, and I'm from UAE. I'm an aeronautical engineer and a pilot, but been in business for the past 12 odd years, and that's my story.
Lovely. So then tell me, how did you hear about Redikall?
Actually, in 2016, I was attending a mind mastery class by Dr. P.P. Vijayan, and his wife, Dr. Gigi Vijayan, was part of Redikall already by then, and she was actually responsible for introducing me to Redikall, and I found it quite interesting. And she said it will make a stark difference in my life, and it actually did.
Okay. So that's how you got to know about Redikall. But what prompted you to learn Redikall?
Actually, I was attending a program called Soul Mastery by Gigi Vijayan and her husband. And what prompted me to attend was doing this Soul Mastery class. Dr. Gigi Vijayan had conducted a soul meta play from Redikall, and I was quite awestruck at the findings, the solutions that came out. I was actually shocked, to be very frank, and I wanted to find more about it, and I wanted to know more about it. And she actually asked me to come and attend a class about it, and that's what prompted me to start. To remember correctly, it was in April 2016 that I first attended my very first Redikall class.
I just wanted to know what happened during your soul meta play then. So what prompted you? What was the aha moment? And
Fortunately, in that soul meta play, it was my issue that was taken up. There were 4 or 5 issues that was there, and uh, the facilitator actually took up my issue, and it was profound the way the whatever unfolded during those sessions, and it took almost 5 to 6 hours, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember correctly right now, but and the issue and the solution, I mean, the people there didn't know me. They were all new people to me, and I was actually shocked at how each characters that were assigned in my family acted or came out exactly as they were, and I didn't even know if something like this could even happen in this today's world. So I was actually quite enthusiastic and curious to know what was behind this, how this happened, and I really wanted to know the science behind it, because since I'm an engineer and engineering type of guy, I always want to know the technical know-hows of everything. So I really wanted to know more about it, and the facilitator, Dr. Gigi Vijayan, actually prompted me to come attend a class, and that's what made me to start Redikall.
okay, so when you say, you just mentioned that 4 years before you were something else, and there was a drastic change in the way you are today. So what changed with Redikall
With
for you?
Redikall, I've become more of a calm person, I would say, and I'm completely changed. I mean, my own family would vouch for it. I used to be a very short-tempered person and take decisions very quickly and not worry about what, even if I say something, I don't usually care about what I say. But after Redikall, things have changed, things have switched. Each time I tell something or something even happens with my life or others or whoever is in my vicinity, I always think what is behind it, what could happen, and what's the brilliance behind it, as we say in Redikall.
Okay, lovely. Um, so then if someone asks you to describe Redikall in few words, how would you describe Redikall? What is Redikall for
I
you?
would say it is very simple but extremely powerful. That's the best way to put it out, because I can't think of anything right now. I mean, I've I have actually seen many modalities, but this is quite powerful, but it is very simple. You won't even notice actually the changes happening within yourself, within your environment, with the people around you. I mean, it's very simple. Once you change from inside, the outer world reflects it.
So, when did you get to know that Radical is much more than therapy?
As soon as I started with Radical and started practicing Radical in different forms, I started seeing that it does not, those are not merely words, or the things that you say in Radical or do in Radical are not merely what it influences you from the inside. And from then you know that it is not just a therapy, it actually influences you, it enhances you actually, to be put in very very simple words. You become a better person. You start thinking from a very very simple point of view. You don't make things complicated. You start taking things easy, and you start taking life easy actually, and you start seeing things from an effortless point of view.
Wow, that's amazing. And do you think you could sustain it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely do. I mean, even though I'm in UAE, most of the programs, I mean, since this is COVID now, most of it's online. But on other, when it was not COVID, most of the programs actually happens offline, and I rarely get to attend any classes or sessions or programs. But I'm always with Radical, and there's always I mean, there's a lot of people I'm in touch with on a daily, weekly basis through WhatsApp calls and whatnot, and I think Radical is my way of life, and the way it has changed me, my family. I don't think I would ever would not want to sustain or get away from it.
Okay. Wow, that's great. So, so then, like you mentioned, that you've been a changed personality altogether. There've been ups and downs in your life, and like we all go through them. So, what do you think? What has changed in you after Radical, where you feel you deal with things differently today? So,
See, before when things happen, I have been still there are ups and downs in my life as I speak to this date. But mm, prior to Radical, I would actually constantly worry about what is happening, and probably not even try to think, and I would always worry, okay, the next person is wrong, or I'm always perfectly right, and all those kind of stories. But nowadays I always try to correct within myself and see what could be the reason that this particular incident is happening, or this particular person is coming to my life, and what can be corrected within myself so that the the other person, or whatever the situation environment, gets shifted. That's what I think now after Radical. Even though there are ups and downs. I mean, I'm not saying that Radical will help you always go on the upper plane and everything, but it'll help you to see life from a new perspective.
right, lovely. So you've got most of your answers, whatever you've been seeking for with.
Actually, I would say I got all of my answers, whatever I'm seeking for, and whatever answer is required, and whatever help, support, whatever is required, it comes at the right time. I just have to seek, and it is there.
Wow.
So then could you give us some examples of where Radical has worked in your life, a practical story that where Radical has worked, if you
See,
can share?
Radical has helped me in many ways. For example, my family life has gotten better, and my wife's or my wife, my children actually started feeling more open towards me. I mean, initially, during the initial days prior to Radical, my wife didn't feel that she could open up to me and she could even discuss certain things with me. But after Radical, things started changing, and I didn't even have to tell her anything, but she actually started coming to me, started discussing more openly, and she even she's even indebtful or indebted to Radical. She didn't. I mean, she also has attended classes recently, but initially she never attended any classes or programs or anything, but she was always adapted to Redikall, and whatever, she didn't even know what Redikall was back then, but she was always happy that I have changed because of Redikall. And I can, like, she literally can discuss anything or more thing. And secondly, my business started getting better. My overall health started getting better, and I started glowing both in and out. And if you see my picture about 4 to 5 years back and now, people always say that I'm glowing. And I would always, I don't use anything. I don't like using anything as well. And so that is truly, truly, truly Redikall. And all the messages, all the instincts, everything that I get. And I'm actually migrating from UAE to Australia, and that was also due to Redikall. So I can't think of an instance in which Redikall hasn't helped me all this while.
So Sudhin, if you have to give one message for everyone who's watching you, what would that message be for future Redikall learners?
See, Redikall is life transformation. I mean, I'm sure that whoever has done Redikall and whoever is following Redikall, they will truly watch for this. And it is quite a simple modality, but the way it will change your life, you possibly won't be even able to imagine the change that Redikall will bring to your life, your situations, your environment, your financial, your business, your employment status, whatever you want to, you name it, and it will start changing as long as you intend, and as long as you want the best out of it.